Good evening, everybody in the gallery and those watching at home. Welcome to the February 2020 Manitowoc County Board of Supervisors meeting. First up will be the invocation by Supervisor Williams, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. If everybody would please rise.
I was going to sing the Marine Corps hymn, but Heavenly Father, watch over us this evening as we take our duties seriously and the plight of the people of this county as well as the whole country, the world as far as that goes. Guide us, help us to make wise decisions, mindful that decisions that we make will last for a long time. And we ask this all in your precious name, Lord. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, Supervisor Williams. I'm sure your Semper Fi would have been very good if you were just saying it. We can certainly practice and work on that because next month the Clipper City Cordsman will be here. So. Thank you once again. Roll call has gone around. We have 17 members present this evening at this time. Supervisors Holschbach, Vogel, Gauger, Kavanaugh, Hanson, and Marsh are excused, and I have not heard from Supervisors Bruner and Mink. So we do have a quorum. But while I'm on the subject, I'm going to talk about this right now. Obviously, we have a large audience here in the gallery, and I have a feeling most of them will want to speak during public input. Supervisor Nichols informed me that he would like to leave at 7:10 to go to the Manitowoc Public School Board meeting, which he's also a member of the Board of Education. I have no problem with that. So what I'm trying to say is we have a resolution for the SRO coming out of public safety that requires a 2/3 majority of the county board, of the standing county board, which means it has to pass on a vote of at least 17 votes. We have 17 members present here as of right now. So what I'm going to do, and I cleared it with our corp counsel, I'm going to run the meeting for a while and I'll have public input. I might stop the meeting if public comment is not done by 7 p.m. I'm going to stop the meeting. I shouldn't say the meeting. Stop the public comment portion of it and go to the resolution from public safety. But then after the discussion on that, we will go right back to public comment. So no one will be not heard if they wish to be heard tonight. It just might be a little 5-minute intermission on that portion of it. So anybody have any questions on that? All right. Thank you very much. Next up will be consideration and correction of our minutes from our January 21st, 2020 meeting. Motion by Supervisor Benke, second by Supervisor Ballman to approve those minutes. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried, and the minutes are approved. I already talked a little bit about our additions to the deletions to the agenda, so there's nothing else to change, I guess, at this time. There are no reports as county supervisors, officers, and department directors, so we will go right to public comment. If there's anybody from the public wishing to speak to any matter germane to Manitowoc County government, please raise your hand, and you'll be allowed to come up to the podium here. You'll just give your name and address, and you'll be allowed approximately 3 minutes to speak on any issue to Manitowoc County. All right. Is there anybody wishing to speak to the county board this evening? Is there anybody wishing to speak to the county board this evening? All right. Well, Maura, you had your hand up first, and then the gentleman in the back with the black hat would be next. And then Roger, you'll be third as of right now. But like I said, everybody is welcome to speak, and we'll definitely allow everybody to speak. So Maura, you are first.
Chip Yost, Centerville. I read with interest County Executive Bob Ziegelbauer's HTR article defending his veto of an April advisory referendum on nonpartisan redistricting to reduce gerrymandering and better equalize the impact of the votes of our county citizens. People should be choosing their legislators rather than legislators choosing their voters, as happens with gerrymandering. Bob has it backwards. Fairness isn't partisan, but unfairness is. That is what he used his veto power for, unfairness. Many of you will remember in American ethic, I learned from my father about partisanship. Quote, I disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. As time went on, I also learned from Wendell Phillips that, quote, to be good as our fathers, we must be better. Imitation is not discipleship. Of course, Bob defended his veto as cost-effective government by claiming that the $2,000 cost to add the advisory referendum was, quote, a waste of taxpayer dollars. If we ignore this waste, where does it stop? The $2,000 amounts to 3 cents per registered voter in the county. So now we know how little our county executive values your vote and fairness. And that is particularly rich coming from an elected official who, since 2006, has increased our county's debt from 28 million without interest to 36 million with interest, causing multiple credit downgrades by Moody's, the bond rater. Our county's continuous pattern of borrowing shows the necessity of increasing revenue. That's the reason I support the half-cent on a dollar spent county-wide sales tax.
Maura, you have about 30 seconds.
Thank you. It is much more fiscally conservative to fund county government paying as we go than borrowing and paying interest, as we are now scheduled to do through 2036. I do appreciate Bob's hidden shout out to me on my 2 researched HTR articles on the Hecker V bond property sale. My advocacy increased sales revenue to the county by around $300,000. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you for your comments, Maura. Okay, next, the gentleman in the black hat. Yes.
My name is Dick Hornack. I live at 16501 Jambo Creek Road, Mishicot, Wisconsin. I don't have any prepared remarks. I came tonight to express my opinion to the Board of Supervisors on my support for moving forward on the Second Amendment resolution for Manitowoc County as a sanctuary county. I believe it's important that we bring this to the board for, go through executive committee and bring it to the board for a vote, and to show our lawmakers in Madison and the governor that where we stand is, as responsible firearm owners, and how much we support our freedoms in the Second Amendment. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Roger, you were next.
Roger Vanderluck from Mishicot. Good evening, County Board members. My name is Roger Vanderluck, and I'm here to tell you I support the Second Amendment Sanctuary Resolution. The Second Amendment is under attack by individuals and parties not believing in our Constitution. As a strong defender of the Second Amendment, I stand before you to ask all of you to please protect our constitutional right to bear arms. And that means to all of us. Our children, our grandchildren, and our great-grandchildren are depending on all of us to defend the Second Amendment as a constitutional right for them and for us. Thank you very much. Have a nice night.
Thank you very much for your comments, Roger. Is there anybody else wishing to speak this evening? Okay, the gentleman here, and then we'll go, I think, yeah, it's Dave. We'll talk to you. Dave, you'll be next. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on, and now I can.
Good evening, County Board members. My name is Terry Bussey. I live at 4406 Broadway Street here in the city of Manitowoc. Lifetime member of Manitowoc County. I am a hunter and fisherman, sportsman, outdoorsman, also a business owner in the village of Whitelaw, and also here to support the Second Amendment resolution that's being discussed this evening, and just giving my support for it. So thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments, Terry. Dave, you were next.
Hi, my name is Dave Stecker. I live at 7930 County Road F, Newton, and I'm a strong proponent of the Second Amendment. And I just wanted to say something here, making Manitowoc County a Second Amendment sanctuary. I had a conversation on this subject the other day with a friend of mine, and I'd like to quote something he said to me. I quote, "The problem is you just don't know what direction these political winds are going to blow these days." Just what did he mean by this? Well, let me explain. Political winds, I can sum that up in these words. Politicians playing politics with our Constitution, our Second Amendment rights, the right of the people to keep and bear arms. And what direction these political winds are going to blow. One big example of this is the state of Virginia. That treasonous governor of Virginia is trying to take away from his own citizens that very Second Amendment right, the right of the citizens to keep and bear arms. It's a dirty, rotten shame we have to come here to this to help protect our Second Amendment rights. But that's why we're here tonight, to bring this resolution to this county board for a vote. There should be no problem with passing this resolution to help and protect our constitutional amendment rights, the right to keep and bear arms. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Dave. Is there anybody else wishing to speak this evening? Yes.
My name is Brian Schultz. I live at 829 Flambeau Street, Manitowoc. Lifelong member, or lifelong resident of the city of Manitowoc. Member of various sportsmen's organizations. President of the Manitowoc Gun Club out of Clover. I am definitely in support of this resolution to keep our Second Amendment rights. As we all know, our kids throughout the years somehow got hooked on video games and indoor things. If we take away the Second Amendment right, you're taking away their freedom to go outside. We want to get them outside. We want to get them exercise. We want them to support the hunting and the various outdoor activities that we can. So I want to go on record and say I'm supportive of this. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Is there anybody else wishing to speak this evening? Anyone else? Yes, sir. And then we'll go to you in the front row here.
Hello, my name is Bruce Grossheim. I'm from Two Rivers. I've lived in Manitowoc County about 40 years now. I came here in 73 when I got out of the Army, moved up from Sheboygan County from the Plymouth area. I'm asking the county board to support the resolution declaring Manitowoc County a Second Amendment sanctuary county. As many of you on the board have, as many of us in the back, we took an oath to defend, support the Constitution of the United States of America and defend it from all enemies, foreign and domestic. I have not been relieved of that oath. That's why I stand here in front of you today. Thank you very much. And I hope you have my support also and I'm asking you for yours.
Thank you for your comments, Bruce. The gentleman in front, yes.
Good evening, everybody. My name is James Downey, and I live at 20021 County Road, JJ. I'm a naturalist and caretaker at the Collins Marsh, and I'm 27 years old. I lived in Manitowoc County my whole life, just west of Alders. I asked the county board to support the Second Amendment resolution in front of you here. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I really try to contribute to society. I'm also the proud owner of 4 firearms, and hopefully can add some more down the road to the collection. I've been hunting and fishing and trapping my whole life. I was never much into the sports, but I got into the outdoor sports from a very young age. And I think that nature is everybody's classroom. There's so much to learn. And I can't begin to tell you the hours I've spent outside in nature learning while I was hunting and trapping, 2 sports that specifically relate to firearms. Another educational opportunity, for example, I went to Valor's High School. The Valor's High School trap team was started in 2018. And my former ag teacher, Jeff Griffey, is the advisor and kind of person behind that. That trap team offers a lot of educational opportunities such as firearm safety, how to learn how to be a team player on a team sport, and it's definitely an avenue for non-athletes to participate in clubs and team sports. We farm west of Alders, and it goes without saying we need a gun on the farm to protect our herd against wildlife and pests such as raccoons or coyotes. And I believe for personal protection, owning a gun is extremely important. I'm very proud. Basically every generation of my family on all 4 sides, Christensen, Dwayne, Downey, and Klein, have had veterans serving in our United States military. I never served. Most recently, my brother Jordan, Staff Sergeant Jordan Downey, he was in Korea twice, 2 combat missions in Iraq and 1 combat mission in Afghanistan. His wife, my sister-in-law, Staff Sergeant Samantha Downey, completed 1 tour of Korea and 1 combat tour of Afghanistan. I'm extremely proud of them, and I know for a fact they enlisted to protect the Constitution, which as of right now allows all of us to own and bear arms, and they would like to continue with that. I think the beauty of democracy is that we can all voice our opinions, we can all assemble behind a cause, and so I ask the county board to take our opinions of those here forward and show folks across the state of Wisconsin and other parts of Wisconsin our support of the Second Amendment. And a lot of veterans in the room tonight. I see hats and folks on the board. Thank you very much for your service, and thanks for your time tonight.
Thank you for your comments, James. Is there anybody else wishing to speak to the board this evening? Anyone else wishing to speak? And for a third and final time, anybody else wishing to speak to the county board this evening? Seeing none, I will declare public comment closed. But I just want to, address everybody. You're certainly welcome to stick around for the rest of the meeting. But I just wanted to give you the timeline as well. As I announced 2 weeks ago in a press release, the executive committee, which consists of myself, first vice chair Supervisor Banky, and second vice chair Supervisor Rick Jarrell, will be meeting 5 p.m., which would be, Thursday. I gotta go back. Yes, I'm sorry. Thursday, March 5th at 5 p.m. in the county board chambers here, to bring up the only thing on the discussion that night will be the discussion of that resolution. There will be public comment at that meeting as well. Just to inform everybody, obviously we would like as many people there as possible, but there is a room limit or a limit to this room. So I guess I can't guarantee everybody will get in. We will provide more seating. We're going to look on the capacity and stuff, but I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that timeline once again. There's several things that might happen at that meeting. Obviously, the executive committee could pass the resolution as is and to the county board. The county executive committee could amend it or take no action at all, and then it would essentially die right there. If it does come out of the executive committee, it will come to the March 17th county board meeting, which was Tuesday, March 17th, 6:30 p.m. in this chambers as well. And there will be public comment as well that night. And there was discussion of the resolution if it comes out of the executive committee. So any questions, don't be afraid to give me a call. You can call me at home or email me too, or contact your supervisors. They'll have the information as well. So thank you all very much for attending. Like I said, you're certainly welcome to stick around for the rest of the meeting. All right, next up will be appointments by the county executive. We have 1 appointment to the ethics committee to appoint 1 member to succeed Attorney Catherine Reynolds for a 3-year term expiring February 28th, 2023. Is there a motion by Supervisor Falkowski, second by Supervisor Sway to approve the appointment? Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed? Motion carried, and the appointment is approved. Next, Land Conservation Committee to appoint one member to succeed Larry Bondi, and the recommendation is for Ted Hoffman. It's a motion by Supervisor Niles, second by Supervisor Ballman to approve. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed? Motion carried, and that appointment is approved as well. Thank you very much. In the interest of time, we are going to go on to committee reports, but I am going to go right to public safety. Wait, I'm sorry. Personnel, I'm sorry. I thought it was coming out of public safety. I apologize. So I'm going to go to the Personnel Committee. Supervisor Ballman is the vice chair who will be talking tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Jamie Aulich spoke to the Personnel Committee meeting as a supervisor for the Valders School District. And the city of Valders, or the town of Valders, will be paying the entire salary and benefits for this position. And we discussed it. We discussed it with the sheriff, and he will be looking for someone who will fit that role in the Valders School. And they will be there full time. So I make a motion to support this resolution.
So motion by Supervisor Ballman, second by Supervisor Williams. Discussion on the resolution. Seeing none, the clerk will now conduct the vote. Oh,
Supervisors will now vote on resolution authorizing addition of one full-time equivalent Sheriff's Department position, school resource officer.
Supervisor Williams, want to try again, please? It's not working? Did the battery die in mid-vote? I guess. Is red light on the remote? Is the red light on the remote?
No.
Okay, so.
Batteries. Is the battery incorrect?
Well, it worked last time. I haven't changed it since. No wonder you guys are-
Let me try it. Let me try it.
So
Try it.
Jessica's grabbing a battery quick, so let's, since the comedy of errors is continuing, we might as well just continue it on here, right? So it's.
No, I'm not. I don't know if this has anything to do with it. I'm still looking for the crank in my phone.
Is it, well, is the battery, well, no, let's not start a battle with that. That's all we need. Was it in? There we go. All right. Thank you, Jessica and Supervisor Metzger. So the resolution passes 18-0. I was hoping that Valders would get their SRO by the end of the year, and I guess after this vote, now they will get it by the end of the year. So, any other reports, Supervisor Ballman, from personnel?
We approved 2 reclassifications for the Human Services Department. These moves will streamline the functions of the department. One administrative support specialist will be moved to a supervisor's position, and that one will report to Patricia Dodge. And we had a in-home safety worker, parenting coach specialist, who will be moved to Child Protective Services supervisor, and she will report to Nancy Reynolds. And that's the end of my report.
Any questions for Supervisor Ballman? Thank you very much. Now we'll go back to the front page and we'll go to Aging and Disability Resource Center Board. Supervisor Wagner is the chair.
Thank you, Chairman Bride. There are plans being put together to attend the Aging Advocacy Day in 2020 in Madison, May 12th. And our next meeting is March 24th in Kewaunee County. That's the end of my report.
Any questions for Supervisor Wagner? Thank you very much. Board of Health, Supervisor Metzger is the chair.
I have no report, but we will be meeting February 13th at 5 PM at the Health Department.
Any questions for Supervisor Metzger? Thank you very much. I'm sorry, Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, Supervisor Falkowski is a representative there.
I have no report. Our next meeting will be March 4th. Thank you.
Any questions for Supervisor Falkowski? Thank you very much. Executive Committee, I basically gave my report during the public comment. So we will be meeting, I'll just reemphasize it once again. We'll be meeting Thursday, March 5th, 5 PM in the county board chambers here. And the only thing on this discussion with that will be the resolution regarding Manitowoc County and the Second Amendment Sanctuary County. And there will be public comment as well. Any questions? All right. Expo Ice Center Board, Supervisor Benke is our lone representative from there tonight. I know you know.
No report.
Okay.
We'll meet tomorrow night.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Thank you very much. Finance Committee, Supervisor Williams is the vice chair.
Report, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions for Supervisor Williams? Thank you very much. Highway Committee, Supervisor Benke is the chair. I know you had a meeting last night, so you might have a report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We did meet last night, had somewhat of a lengthy agenda. Part of the agenda was a Kellnersville four-way stop request from the village. There was a little bit of what we call a discrepancy in the reading of the minutes that came out of public through the Traffic and Safety Committee. So Highway sent that back to Traffic and Safety for clarification as to whether to put a four-way stop at T&K in the village of Kellnersville. So that will be coming. We talked about even construction, additionally extending their lease. Also, we talked about ATV traffic ordinances and how that, there's a lot of changes in the ATV traffic road as of late in the state, and different changes to the laws. And some of that affects the county is roads that travel through a city, village, or town that has a speed limit of 35 miles an hour or less. So we're going to be just kind of sitting on that for a while. We're not going to do anything on our end. There are a number of towns and villages that have passed their own ordinances, but as far as we're concerned, we're going to just sit tight for a while. We talked about our 2020 or 2020 state work, which is looking pretty healthy for the spring coming up. Mark is talking, we probably have enough work through September right now, not including the towns and village work that we may be getting on top of that. So it looks like another busy summer for the highway department. Again, when our wheels turn, that helps fund our enterprise fund, which helps fund buying equipment for the county of Manitowoc. So the more work we get, the better. We talked about equipment. We accepted a bid for a 4x4 tractor bid from ICE, low bid. And the interesting part that Mark is getting more into the educational portion of it. It's really some very interesting things, and talking about the technology that's going on our trucks now for snow plowing, talking about how it monitors the surface temperature, how it monitors the amount of salt that's going, and you basically can see on the GPS where the trucks are, how much is being distributed. The technology is just phenomenal as far as being able to regulate and being able to see where the problem areas are with that. So hats off to Mark and his crew for Sunday's snowstorm or snow removal. I took a trip to Appleton, and Calumet County does not do a very good job on snow plowing when I went through on Highway 10. Our next meeting is March 10th at 4 p.m. That concludes my report, Mr. Chair.
Any questions for Supervisor Benke? Thank you very much. Human Services Board, Supervisor Henriksen is the chair.
Chairman, we met on the January 23rd. Lisa Steppen, supervisor of the Birth to Three and Children's Waiver Teams, and Jackie O'Durkek, Birth to Three teacher, described the program and the staff assigned to it. Birth to Three is an early intervention program that is federally mandated. It serves children with developmental delays and disabilities and their families. This program works to enhance the child's development and support the family's knowledge and skills and abilities as they interact and raise their child. Referrals are received from parents, doctors, community partners. After initial screening, a determination is made as to whether a child is appropriate for a program. A teacher service coordinator works with the therapist to evaluate the child to start the eligibility process. Children need to have a 25% delay or more, at least one area of development, and have a diagnosed condition or qualify under a typical development. In the past several years, Holy Family Memorial has contracted with us to provide therapy services to families. The therapy team plays an integral role in the program. During the year, we were notified by HFM staff that the program was showing a financial deficit for them, and several changes needed to be made in order for them to continue the contract. As a result, a request for proposals was processed and published to potential providers. We will be analyzing all proposals in order to determine the best fit for the families and the agency moving forward. The projected financial surplus is continuing due to lower usage at Winnebago and Mendota mental health facilities, as well as higher than budgeted revenues in the WIMCR Medicaid Recollection Program. Discussion of 7 different staffing changes occurring. We are working with the Public Works staff to find workspace for new positions in the A Street building. We're also working on improving security in both buildings. There is an emergency button located at the front desk that notifies the dispatch officer in events of emergencies. Our next regular meeting of the Human Services Department will be held Thursday, February 27th at 4:45. That concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions for Supervisor Henriksen? Thank you very much. Land Conservation Committee, UW Extension Education and Agricultural Committee, Supervisor Wagner is the chair.
And Brian, I have no report for the land conservation, but their next meeting will be March 19th at the county office complex at 4:45. The UW Extension Education and Agricultural Committee will meet next week, February 20th at 4:45 at the county office complex. That's the end of my report.
Any questions for Supervisor Wagner? Thank you very much. Planning and Park Commission, Supervisor Dysek is the chair.
We met on January 27th. We held 2 public hearings for zone changes, and I'll get to those ordinances shortly. But we also then approved 3 variance requests, and we approved referring 1 septic system ordinance violation on to corporate counsel for enforcement. And ordinances, first one is for Marion Hartman to rezone approximately 3.87 acres from large estate to exclusive ag, and approximately 1.13 acres from large estate to rural residential. The area to be considered for rezoning meets past criteria for zoning land from large estate. The Mimi Town Board and Town Planning Commission support the change, and the proposed change will allow an existing residence to be sold, but maintaining the rest of the land in farming use and exclusive ag. And I move for approval.
So motion by Supervisor Dysek, second by Supervisor Falkowski. Discussion on the motion? Seeing none, the clerk will now conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the ordinance amending zoning map for Marion Hartman.
The ordinance passed 18-0.
Thank you. The next ordinance is for the Brad and Amy Sibley to rezone approximately 1 acre from general ag to rural residential. The area to be considered for rezoning meets past criteria for rezoning land from general ag. Mishicot Town Board and Town Planning Commission support the change, and the rezone will allow a new home to be built. There's already one home, and you're not allowed to put two homes on a general ag, so they're just breaking this one off to build a new home. And I move for its approval.
So motion by Supervisor Dizak, second by Supervisor Hoffman. Discussion on the motion? Seeing none, the clerk will now conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the ordinance amending zoning map for Brad and Mary Sibley.
Ordinance passes 18-0.
Our next meeting will be on February 24th at the County Office Complex, and that concludes my report.
Any questions for Supervisor Dizak? Thank you very much. Public Safety Committee, Supervisor Hendrickson is the vice chair.
The county board meeting, and basically what we had a discussion, action regarding 2 sheriff's deputies for educational expenses. We approved both of those. And our next meeting will be March 11th, 2020. That concludes my report.
Any questions for Supervisor Hendrickson? Thank you very much. Public Works Committee, Supervisor Droll is the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. No report. Next meeting is tomorrow afternoon at 4:30 at the Health Department. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Any questions for Supervisor Droll? Thank you very much. Transportation Coordinating Committee, Supervisor Ballman is the chair.
Transportation Committee meets at 11 o'clock in the morning, which is a change of time for us this coming Wednesday, February 19th, here in the meeting room.
Any questions for Supervisor Ballman? Thank you very much. 2 quick things. I asked Cody if we can zoom in a little bit on this. Maybe you've begun to see it, but it's a fundraiser for Ascend Services here, man. Formerly known as Holiday House. I guess it's always gonna be Holiday House to me, but it's the Celebrity Axe Bunch, and I know Sheriff Hardwig has left and Supervisor Hanson are not here, but us 3 members are gonna be part of this axe throwing contest where you can challenge us to see who gets a better score. It's gonna be, I gotta look at the exact date, Saturday, February 22nd from 12 to 5 p.m. Tapped on the lake shore at 3114 Memorial Drive in Two Rivers. So if you get a chance, come on out there, challenge one of us. Like I said, myself, I'll be there at 3 p.m. Sheriff Hardwig will be there from 2:30 to 3 p.m. right before myself. And right after myself will be Supervisor Biff Hansen, and from 3:30 to 4 p.m. Plus, there's other people as well. So if you get a chance, great fundraiser, great event. Come on out there and see if you can beat Mr. Axe Thrower here, who hasn't really ever done that. So it shall be interesting. But all right, and also just remember next week, February 18th. Yes, I'm sorry. February 18th, primary election here in the state of Wisconsin. You can vote in the state of Wisconsin from 7 a.m. till 8 p.m. at night. And we'll have some results. I know we have 1 county board race that we have a primary. But get out and vote. Encourage everybody else to vote as well. With that, we have nothing else. A motion to adjourn. Motion by Supervisor Droll, second by Supervisor Hoffman. All those in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a safe trip home.